What up, people? Pushing Wild Black here with Pushing Wild Black Sports. I am Christian Dean. My homie on the other end is Anthony Joslin. We were gonna do every other day, but we both have 9 to 5s, so we're gonna try to do a weekly one until, work schedules allow it. So I am watching the Cubs game and is watching the Oklahoma City game. So opening night was Tuesday in the NBA. Ant, what are your thoughts?
Everybody's kind of bugging because Golden State came out with a thud. But you know what? It's going to take some real competition, some real games to get everything worked out. But once the Warriors work out their bugs or their kinks, they're going to be hard to stop.
And the quote-unquote thud was against a team that was designed to beat them in San Antonio.
Pretty much.
So in San Antonio, they added, Powell, Tim Duncan retired, and Popovich they built that team to beat Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get so we saw partial of that game. What I noticed about that game was Steph Curry was going in the lane. Kevin Durant was, I don't know, man. I mean, he played good, but how do you think they're gonna use him, man? Or how do you think they used him?
They're gonna use him. This is gonna be the set that they're gonna use. They're gonna use the odd man out is gonna be who's the power forward?
Green.
They gotta keep him in for the defense
And the ball handling skills. He doesn't demand the ball as far as scoring. So he can. Right. He's that Swiss Army knife.
But I think they're just gonna have 3 shooters with 1 defensive guy and 1 post player maybe.
But I mean, as far as like what you saw in game 1, because I know you saw some of it, and I saw some of it, it seemed like Steph made a point to go to the lane, and again, I didn't see a lot of the game because it was a late game. I just know that, and then when I know that they were having trouble defending San Antonio, and they were.
And a lot of that is the units not playing together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I'm saying 3 weeks from now it's gonna be totally different.
They'll get used to each other.
Yeah, they'll get used to each other, and plus it'll actually be game film on the teams that they're playing. So they can scout and they can set up their switches. I mean, I've never been a doomsday type cat anyway. But, just because they lost the first game, that don't mean you throw everything away.
I mean, if it was against, who's the worst team in the West? If it was against the Kings or something, I can get it. But like I said, San Antonio was built for them. Pop built that team to beat them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it wasn't like it was a bum team. It wasn't like it was Philly or something that we just gonna ball out and we just gonna beat a 73-9 win team. That was a team that was constructed to beat them. LaMarcus Aldridge is still there. Everybody's there except him, and they got Powell to take Tim's place, which is actually a good fit.
Yeah, he's a little longer than Tim, too.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And he can shoot the three and, like, you know, Powell's toward the end of his career, so there's no...
That was nice.
So there's no, you know, and Cleveland just...
That was really nice.
What you watching, Ant? What happened?
He's just 7 foot tall with handles like a guard.
Well, Davis?
No, Durant.
Yeah.
He's
So
from one of the New Orleans players. He just spun him completely around. He yo-yoed him.
He yo-yoed him?
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to actually, like, we're having the game on in the background. Ant has the basketball. I'm a gigantic Cubs fan. It's game 3. I have to watch this game. So,
I don't understand why nobody couldn't send them tickets.
It's all good, man. I guarantee you the Cubs are going to be World Series favorites for the next 2-3 years. I have plenty of time. Unless, like, a meteor hits the Cubs plane or something, I think we'll be fine. I think I have another chance to go to the World Series during my lifetime now. As long as Theo Epstein is the GM of the Cubs, this team is...
That was nice.
What?
And the only thing, the thing that created that rotation, that opening, is because Kevin Durant is on the floor.
Okay, so describe that play.
It's just Kevin Durant is at the top, and Green basically can do a thing where he can spin baseline now, and there's no way, you got to pick your poison. Either you're going to let Green go ahead and get the dunk, or you're going to let him kick it back out to one of them outside shooters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why I said the only way he gets that is because Kevin Durant is on the floor.
Now, is it too early to kind of see how they're going to use him? Meaning, is it too early to see who's going to close? Because from what I saw against and again, I'm not watching the game today. From what I saw with the Spurs game, it was everybody was still kind of like, it was still balanced. Scoring was still balanced. So there's not closers right now. There's not somebody that'll be like, all right, we're down by like 7. Or who's going to get the ball? That the offense that they run isn't.
You know what? It seems like Kevin Durant is playing harder, bro.
Really?
I hope he. Now, okay. Let me preface this with a statement.
Conspiracy theory, Anthony. Go.
No. I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
Let me preface this with a statement. Me and Kevin Durant and a mutual friend of ours are the same side.
Mm-hmm.
And it really looks like Kevin Durant is playing considerably harder.
I don't think that's deep. I just think he's happier.
Maybe that's it.
But I don't know, man. Like, I gotta go into a tangent before we continue on with other games, because I do want to talk to you about other games.
Okay.
You know my stance on the whole super team thing. Everybody's adults. Everybody's grown. This is a job. Even though it's a fun job, even though they're supremely gifted athletes, this is a job. And if you think of it as a job, it got really stale at OKC, man. The environment wasn't good. He met with some people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he met with some people, he networked, and you know what I'm saying? They bonded over Bible study. You're going to have to go deeper in that story one day. And he just decided to go to another job, man.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's just like, bro, we've been.
You know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna take it to the deepest level, and we might offend some people.
Mm-hmm.
But all this sports stuff and all this certain things you can do in entertainment and certain things you can't. It really it lends itself to slavery times,
Damn.
Like you're supposed to be obligated.
Week two of the show, and we're already doing slavery. Damn, Anthony, really, homie?
Yeah.
I mean,
were you wanting to stay away from that, or?
Nah, bro, I'm not a censorship person. I just figured it would be it wouldn't be, the second one we did. Yeah. I mean, it's not. Here's the deal, like, and because I'm watching, because we're going back to opening night, man, and I'm like, after the, because I watched the first game. What was the first game? I watched the New York and Cleveland game. Oh, and we're gonna get into that for a second. But before I get into the NBA opening night, the true opening night game, I gotta talk about Charles Barkley and what he said about Kevin Durant and and this whole narrative that like people want to do, and it's just like, look, man, like LeBron James, back when LeBron did it, it was a shitty job. Cleveland was a shitty job. You could go as far as you can go as far as you go at that place. If you look at NBA teams as companies, and this is where, even though I wasn't expecting to go to the slavery narrative, and these dudes get paid millions of dollars to shoot a basketball and dunk a basketball. You're not obligated to nothing. Like, it was a shitty job in Cleveland. He went to work with his friend, with his best friend. And Chris Bosh, understanding that Florida has no state tax, understanding that if you get out of Toronto, you can make more money because they're not double taxing you. He goes to the perfect place, Miami. That's what you're supposed to do. Everybody's upwardly freaking mobile, man. This isn't 1970 anymore where they lock you in to these deals and you can't move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, for Charles Barkley to go and say, like, this is why Kenny Smith is the smartest person, because you know what? Ernie's falling into ridiculousness now. You know what I'm saying? Because I get why you have to be the moderator of, Shaq, Kenny, and I get why you got to be the moderator of Shaq, Kenny, and Charles. But you know what? You ain't got to be, you don't have to fall into ridiculousness. What Charles Barkley and what a lot of old head NBA players are talking about with Kevin Durant, and at first when LeBron did it, is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Like, it got stale at OKC, he left. And it just so happens that, the circumstances were kind of like, but you know what? Like, there were rumors of him going to the Lakers before that, even though, like, the person saying, the person telling the rumor was Stephen A. Smith, and we all have opinions about that whole situation. But there are rumors of him leaving OKC, like, months before this happened. And I gotta say something about Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley. Both of them need to shut up, because first, we ain't even gonna go into Shaq, because Shaq just turned it to like, I'm gonna leave a championship quality caliber team to go to the Lakers, not because they're a better team, but there are better opportunities for you financially off the court. You wanted to make movies. You want to make.
To be honest,
go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. Kevin Durant is at a deeper level one of the most disliked players in the league. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
He's not gonna cry about it. He's gonna be very flat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People call it aloofness, but he's gonna be very flat. And it could have been a situation where he saw it 2 years ago. This is not gonna work, but I'm gonna try to do my best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, hindsight is 20/20, and I really hate to use it. They would have been better suited keeping Harden.
You've always said that. Everybody said that, and we're gonna get to Harden in a second because I think he's found. I think D'Antoni and Harden. I think that's gonna be a problem. But I wanna.
But you know what though?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same position. The position he's playing now for Houston. The same position he played for OKC.
But I know. But see, now and there are gonna be some there are gonna be some people that are gonna be like, well, that offense is that offense, and they don't guard anybody. But everybody knows the Mike D'Antoni offense. Everybody knows how that situation is gonna go. Cubs just got a triple. Let's tie this up. As I'm watching the Cubs game, is this happening? Real quick though, I want to finish the Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley thing. Shaquille O'Neal left a championship caliber team for not even money because he just wanted to leave to get in a bigger market You had an opportunity, and if you watch the 30 for 30 about Penny and him, you had an opportunity to build some in Orlando, and you left to go to you left to go to a bigger market. Basically, yeah, they paid you, but you left to go to a bigger market out of ego, out of basically you and there was ego with you and Penny. That's been documented in 30 for 30. There was ego with you, and you wanted to be a bigger market, and you wanted to do other things. You didn't go to a better place. It ended up being a better place basketball wise and that team wasn't necessarily stacked, but that team was young and talented. If you look at the team that Shaquille O'Neal went to, it wasn't Orlando, because Orlando was a championship caliber team with him. But he went to a young and up-and-coming team who had Eldon Campbell, Eddie Jones. They drafted Kobe Bryant. I think I think they had Eddie Jones. They got Eddie Jones. They had Eldon Campbell. They had a young Nick Van Exel. They had some building blocks, and he automatically made a young and exciting team into a playoff contender. But it wasn't a better job. It was an okay job, but it wasn't a better job. You didn't leave for a better situation. Kevin Durant left for a better situation. You left for money. Charles Barkley is worse because he bitched his way out of Philly. He bitched his way out of Phoenix and then he wanted to go. Everybody forgets the two super teams. One he actually joined, and the other one he almost joined because the whole we never wanted to play together. Old school cats never wanted to play together. Okay, does everybody forget the whole come back to play with Michael Jordan for the Wizards? Do we all forget that?
Well, everybody's trying to forget that Michael Jordan even played for the Wizards.
But dude, I didn't. But
that's because you from the South.
No, it ain't even that, man. You know what it is? First of all, that entire thing was, and I don't want to go into it. What?
Wow.
What?
That was a very nice pass.
Who?
Oh, that was a very nice pass.
Okay.
Pass like that in a while.
Explain.
What's the name? Hit Oladipo, and he hit him on a cut to the basket.
Right.
And that dude just shot off like a rocket.
Russ.
No,
Oladipo. Yeah. So
his head was above the square at one point, I think.
Nice. So Michael Jordan has the most iconic shot in NBA history. I remember that because I was in a hospital bed recovering from surgery. Where
was you?
Yeah, it was surgery on my legs. And I remember that because it was quiet hour. Like, he makes the shot and we weren't allowed to celebrate. But you can hear like the doctor, you can hear the nurses and the orderlies that still were there clap quietly as that shot hit.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember I was sitting in my living room and my brother goes, "You just gonna go to the top of the key and pull it."
Right. and then they break up the team. Now, we can do a whole thing about the reasons why, but I'm not going to go into that because I want to talk about other things. But I remember when he bought the Wizards, and then he was like, all right, I still want to go and I want to practice. Because originally this was a practicing thing. I'm going to go and I'm going to be an owner, but I'm going to practice because this is fun. Then he practices. Then, like, he built that entire team, you know, based off of heart, not off of ability, off of basketball ability. Then he went and played again, like, with all them cats, like, in practice. Then it was like, dang, I still got game left. So, and then the Bulls didn't want to give him owners. The Bulls didn't really do him well when everything like happened with them. And he goes, I want to play. I don't feel like I retired correctly, right? So that's what his thing was. So he plays. So when he's playing, when he's like, he's thinking about a comeback and he's training with Tim Grover, and you can hear like, oh man, he's coming back and he's that this and da da da. He calls Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was a TNT analyst. This is when, like, I think Jason Terry was a rookie and stuff. Like, Charles Barkley was an analyst. Like, he just got off of retiring himself. He got fat Charles. He got fat again, and he got comfortable. What Michael Jordan got Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, all his poker playing friends, right? Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, and then he calls Barkley. He's like, Barkley. He's like, Chuck, come out of retirement. So for the whole season of before Jordan makes the comeback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Charles Barkley was doing all this training, was on diets. This was on TNT. This was real. This was not a TV bit. This was real. And then during the playoffs of the season, Jordan decides to come back. Barkley checks out. Barkley's like, nah, I don't want to do it. But for the majority of the season before Jordan came back to play for the Wizards, Barkley was about to play for the Wizards. That was the goal. Michael Jordan, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, and Tyronn Lue is the point guard, and Doug Collins is the coach. They was all gonna come play together like Jordan's first year as the Wizards. That was happening. Barkley just left. So Barkley just, not chickened out, but he's like, I don't want to embarrass myself, right? But yes, we forget that. We also forget the fact that you tried your damnness to play with Scottie Pippen and Akeem Olajuwon. You were on that team. We forget about that. And just because you chickened out to play with Jordan when he was in Washington, it doesn't mean we're all supposed to forget that you did that when you were in your late 30s, early 40s. That you attempted to do that. Shaq just needs to stop because we never, like, dude, you became a journeyman, bro. Anybody with a young guard, you was there, and you made a point to say, I helped Kobe win. This is my poor Shaquille O'Neal impression.
I remember when he went to Phoenix.
Yeah.
In the booth, he raised his hand and told him he was gonna bring him a ring.
Right. So you became like a mercenary. You became like a...
Wait. This is a side note. The coach for the Pelicans, Alvin Gentry, can still dunk. Oh, but he looks so old badish when he does it.
By the way, we gonna get to old man dunks or old man dunk attempts because Brother Wade showed he has no knees left. It's like, I'm so glad that D Wade's back home. I didn't really know how that was gonna be, but dude, that reverse dunk that he tried to do, I was like, oh D, no.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's just like, look, man, like I'm gonna get off the whole Charles thing. Shaquille O'Neal became a journeyman mercenary to try to get a fifth ring. He left Orlando to go to he left Orlando instead of building something in Orlando. You left to go to the Lakers. Fine, I get that. Then you got traded to Miami. Did he get traded to Miami or did they let him leave?
They kind of did a free. They let him leave.
Cause Bus was like, I'm not gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay Kobe, which was the smartest decision because you pay youth. So you go to Miami. You win a ring. Then it was weird because you go to Phoenix. You try to do that. You try to. I think Steve Kerr was the GM. You try to run that offense when you couldn't run. Then you play for Boston. Then I think he played for Boston for like a couple games. Then he played for, he like LeBron, like they needed a center in Cleveland. Then he tried to play for Cleveland. Then he ended up in Boston. I think he retired as a Celtic. And it's just like, bro, come on, man. Like, stop. You became a mercenary and you became a journeyman and you didn't have to. And Barkley, same way. So it's like the old guard. And I love Kenny Smith, man. And I love David Aldridge for being honest. You know why this didn't happen back in the day? Because everybody's money wasn't the same then. And free agency wouldn't let you do that. And wasn't nobody taking less deals either. These cats are taking less yearly deals. Cats are signing 3-year deals or 2-year deals or 1-year deals. Cats ain't signing 5-year deals anymore. Everybody in the 80s and the 90s was signing 5-year deals. Ain't nobody doing that no more. They're hacking you can put as much as you can in the collective bargaining agreement. These brothers are hacking the NBA right now. And no one understands how to beat that because no one's taking 5-year deals.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just feel like, and Charles Barkley said that the Knicks are gonna be bad, which is a lie. You know, you can't judge them based off of playing Cleveland when Cleveland wasn't even at full strength. Because I think when they get the K Fielder kid, the rookie, when they get that little 5'6", 5'7" combo guard that's basically Nate Robinson but thicker with a 3, when he's in a rotation, that's another little secret weapon that Cleveland has. So, and like I didn't know that niggas are gonna be fine. They ran the triangle a little bit, which Charles just Shaq was like they didn't run the triangle. Charles was like they ran the triangle. They ran the triangle in some aspects, but most of that offense is a 2-point guard offense. I don't necessarily know how Derrick Rose and Brandon Jennings are gonna run that, or Derrick Rose and Holiday's brother. Forgot that brother's first name. And is gonna run that offense, but that offense Jordan Holiday. Thank you. I don't really know how Jordan Holiday and Derrick Rose are gonna run that offense, but it's a 2-point guard offense with elements of the triangle in it, and they don't have a post player, and they don't. And Carmelo Anthony's a jump shooter. He's a volume jump shooter. He's really not a guy that goes to the lane. Rose can be, but Rose is still figuring out what his body can do now. So it's better for you to try to run. They looked really good. Your guy from Wichita State looked good in relief garbage time. I think that's going to be a gritty.
Ron Baker.
I think that's going to be a gritty little point guard for Hornacek's offense, which he'll spare Rose. He'll spare Rose in certain spots or whatever second guard they do. I don't see them running the triangle often, and so the Knicks are gonna make it to the playoffs. I want to talk about. I didn't see the close of the Bulls game, but that's Rondo's team.
Right.
That's not Wade's team. That's not Butler's team. Ironically, Butler and Wade are gonna have, I think, career seasons because now Rondo and the Czar brought this up, and other people that I trust their opinions on things have brought this up. Rajon Rondo does the assists, the stat assists versus good play, meaning he'll do an assist when he could just score, and it causes you to do a very dumb play because you're trying to get a stat. There was a 3-second violation where Rondo was trying to get an assist, and he ended up staying in the lane for 3 seconds, and it was a turnover. And Mike Fratello was like, "Well, he could have just scored, and it would have been a better play." You're gonna see that with the Bulls. That's probably the only thing you're gonna see that'll be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because Rondo has a tendency to do stupid stuff like that. Like, he'll get the assist more than he'll do the smart play. But generally, if everybody's going to get their shots, you know what I'm saying? Because Rondo isn't the dude that... Because, see, Rose... I love Derrick Rose, man. But Rose is...
He really doesn't.
Huh?
He really doesn't. He's just saying it.
I love Derrick Rose, dude. But Rondo's a better true point guard than Rose is. Rose has to get his shots.
Yeah.
Which in Hornacek's offense, it doesn't matter because when he had Dragic and Bledsoe in Phoenix, it doesn't matter because of how they ran stuff. Like, Rose is still gonna get his shots. You know what I'm saying? Where in Chicago, it was like they couldn't really, because Rose walks the ball up and he really doesn't run. Rondo will run still, and he'll run the offense, which Wade and Butler combined for like 7 threes or something during that game. That was the offense. Now, do they guard? They guard a little better because Wade and Rondo go for steals. They gamble for steals. That can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. Because if you gamble for steals and you miss, big plays happen or fouls happen. So you really got to know how to gamble for steals. You really got to know how to gamble for steals. You really got to watch the ball. You really got to know how people, and I'm saying this as a defender in wheelchair basketball, you really got to know how to gamble for steals. You really got to know how to be an on-the-ball defender. So they're not as good as the Tibbs era. They're not going to be as good as that. But because D-Wade and because Jimmy Butler's always going to be a defender. D-Wade's a little bit of a defender. Rondo, gambles for steals. The defense is going to be a little better just because they're there. Not because of what Fred does, but because they're there. So the defense is going to be a little better to me. The offense is going to be a lot better because you got a willing passer that really doesn't want to score.
Right.
And you got a guy that, which I get what Charles was trying to say, but it doesn't matter because the offense doesn't. You cannot compare this team, because he's talking about D-Wade, and he says something to the effect, which is also wrong. He says something to the effect that Wade has to defer. It isn't Wade's team. It isn't Butler's team. Now, Butler's probably going to close just because he's the youngest one. And he's the more athletic one of the three of them. And Rondo doesn't score. But it isn't anybody. It's Rondo's team. If he's right mentally and he runs the offense, you're not beating them.
Right.
Doesn't matter. So Rondo's going to figure out who's open, or Rondo's going to figure out who has the hot hand. And it doesn't matter who's going to defer because there's no deferring. The difference between the dynamic between LeBron and D-Wade is because both of them were ball handlers. LeBron is a gigantic point guard. D-Wade's a combo guard. D-Wade is exclusively playing off the ball in this offense. There will be no take turns. Rondo's running that offense. Michael Carter-Williams is running that offense off the bench. There is no, we're going to figure, you're deferring. There's no deferring there. I'm sorry. Just when he said that, I was like, what game were you watching? It's not about, it's not going to be, they basically have three guys or four guys because Jimmy wants to be this way. They basically have four guys that can run the point guard position. And Rondo's basically going to run the point guard position. Michael Carter-Williams is basically going to handle. Them other guys are Jimmy Butler plays small forward, and that was a perfect position in that offense because he can move around. He can move around. He can guard three positions. He can move around. He was basically a perimeter shooter, and he was hot. The one thing I don't like, just because you're not going to be able to do that every game, because those guys are not really meant for. Those guys are not really built as three-point shooters, is they had a really good night behind the arc. You're not going to get that every night.
Mm-hmm.
So that motion offense that we're seeing everybody run, the difference between Chicago and everybody else, like Golden State, D'Antoni's offense isn't a motion offense, but the Lakers have a very similar offense, but they don't have that offense is basically the Golden State's offense, but you got high flyers in that offense. So the Golden State is like the archetype of that offense, like threes, motion threes. Let's run up and down the court, and then you have. You have because Luke Walton came from that system, so then you have Luke Walton coming from that system and basically running the same system, but doesn't have the sharpshooters that Golden State does. But he has a bunch of high flyers and he has a bunch of guys that can run. So basically, if there's a three open, they're gonna take it. They're gonna take the shot, but but the offense is basically, we're going to run up and down the court and we're going to jump over you. And then D'Antoni has a similar style. We're going to run up and down the court and we're going to jump over people. And then the Bulls, they're trying to run the same style because Fred Hoiberg wants to run that way. But you got a bunch of old guys doing it.
Yeah.
So what Charles has said about the Knicks was wrong. What Charles said about the Bulls was wrong. They will make the playoffs. To me, they're in the running for the conference finals. I still say that. I think they're going to be in the conference finals. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to beat Cleveland. I think it's not going to be good for them once they get there. But I think they're going to end up making it. Now, I heard that Indiana's a problem. I heard that Indiana's going to be really nice. I haven't seen them play yet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So I watched the I really like what the Lakers are doing. Everybody was like, the Lakers aren't getting people. Look, after what I saw, and I don't know who won that game. I think you said Harden snapped off for 50.
Yeah.
In that game, I don't even know how many assists he had. I think he had like 9 assists the first quarter when I left the game, because I left the game in the first quarter. From what I saw, huh?
I said, yes.
What?
Harden snapped out for 50.
How many assists did he get? Do you know?
I'm sure I can look it up, but right now I can't do it.
I feel you. We're co-producing this, and Ant's like, no, I'm done. He's like, I'm out. From what I saw, that and I'm too focused on this game to really pay attention. We're bad today, but we still have thoughts. I don't know, man. It's Friday, and we ain't got sponsors yet, so it's fine. We need sponsors, by the way. So, but yeah, man, like Harden, the one thing that D'Antoni, because D'Antoni's had scoring point guards before, but they're not frustrating. Like Stephon Marbury was frustrating for him. Nate Robinson was frustrating for him because they would deviate and not run the system. James Harden will score, but James Harden runs the system. So this is like a perfect, like this is like what, because Jeremy Lin and Steve Nash, yeah, they could score 30, but that wasn't what they do. This is what James Harden does. And basically you're running a simple run and gun, pick and roll style thing. You don't, like, they got a center that I forgot the name of, and I think he's a rookie, and it's just like, he's just flying everywhere, and dude. So what Harden is doing is really good. What the Lakers are doing is fine. Everybody's worried about the Lakers getting free agents. To me, you don't really need one. You got a young coach basically running Golden State system, and you got a bunch of young kids that don't know nothing but to run. And they're jumping over everybody. Does that mean they're going to win? No. Does that mean they're going to go to the playoffs? Doubtful, but at least they'll be fun this season.
Yeah.
So, Swaggy P's still there. The kid, Russell, he just seems free. He was like, he was popping threes and he was dunking on people, and he was like, this is my house. The brother seems free. I'm happy for him. So and one thing on my end that I noticed that I saw too, I think Philly is going to and Philly has crazy injuries, dude. Who knew?
They always do.
Who knew Joel Embiid, man, had all this skills? This brother was shooting threes. This brother was handling. Like, yo, man, they almost pulled it off against OKC, bro.
Yeah.
And then they found it. Go ahead.
They're stacked.
Yeah. So, I'm. It's the first week of the season. Maybe I'm just like overly excited because I'm a basketball nut and the round ball season is here. But I don't know, man. At first I thought I was like, man, this is gonna be a crappy game. The Philly game. I was like, man, this is gonna be a crappy game. Russ is gonna go for 40, and then Joel Embiid just was like, I'm just gonna snap off now. You know what I mean? And then they're not even like, dude. They're like they went down all the list of injuries they have, and they might be okay. Not this season, but they might be okay. Like next season or something. And even if they're not, they got some talent that they can trade. So,
yeah.
From what I saw, man, it was.
They got a ton of draft picks.
Yeah, they do. I don't really know. I don't know if you heard this, but they were chanting, "Trust the process" during the telecast. The crowd was chanting, "Trust the process," because that's what Presti was saying all the time before they fired him. Trust the process, and ironically, they fired him right when the process is starting to work.
Yeah.
So, but I rambled enough, man. Do you have any thoughts at all? Well,
I take any sports season in quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where we're at like game 26. And then by game 46, we'll be at 48. We'll be at another quarter.
Right.
And I still stick to my same things, but Golden State's gonna have to learn how to play together and play off of each other. Minnesota's gonna have to step up and solidify their core and their players. And as far as Harden and Westbrook, them cats just get to be, animals unleashed. So,
I'm watching Harden. I'm watching that game, and Mark Jackson was like, "Come on, man, this is fun, but y'all gotta stop people." And
But you know something else?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
What?
You know why people do coke?
Why?
Because they say coke makes them feel invincible. Right now, Harden, Westbrook, and the Cavaliers feel invincible.
Okay, I never thought coke and invisibility would be on an NBA thing, but we're just like, oh man, that's awesome. We're still gonna put this up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, all these. I'm really like Houston. Like I watched that Houston thing, and I was like, I totally forgot about Houston. I still wouldn't put them in my team.
But a good defensive team can
beat them. That's why I can't put them. I can't put them as they're a team. I can't do that because I think the Timberwolves are gonna do what Houston does, but guard people.
Yeah.
Like I just think, and they're not gonna be on TV. Like I said before. They're not going to be on TV. Dude, no one's going to... The Minnesota Timberwolves tell you how disrespect... Like, inside the league, everybody loves Tom Thibodeau. Right? Inside the league. Markability-wise, no one's going to care until Minnesota, shocks some people. And I'm going to tell you why. Houston, everybody, it's like, they have like the polls, and then they have like the Associated Press, and then they have the coaches poll, and then they have the media poll, right? And in the league, among other coaches, and like everybody loves Minnesota because like all the insiders love Minnesota. I'm not even calling myself an insider. I just know that Tom Thibodeau is a genius, and I know he got a bunch of young guns, and I know what he turned a bunch of young bulls into. A bunch of young up-and-coming bulls into when you had one dude that believed in what you were doing, Derrick Rose, and you took a bunch of young dudes and you took a bunch of bums, quite honestly, to almost a championship. Understand what I'm saying? So, like, I know that dude's the truth as far as coaching goes, period. But the media loves what D'Antoni does, because what D'Antoni does is, like, Houston's going to be on TV a lot. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything, but you're going to see them a lot. What the Minnesota's going to do, they're going to have to shock the world a few times before they get on TV. Because right now, they got the NBA TV, like, 9 o'clock at night game. And it's like, I don't know, man. I looked at that and I was like, really? They got them in a late game? That doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, man, I think that everybody, like, when I saw the Minnesota Timberwolves have that 9 o'clock game and NBA TV, I was like, yeah, y'all don't believe in the Timberwolves yet. The media doesn't. The media, like I was saying, Ant, the media poll loves Houston. But the coaches poll loves, if we're bringing it to college football, the coaches poll loves the Timberwolves. And the insiders love the Timberwolves. The media loves Houston. But they're going to have to, Timberwolves are going to have to shock the world in order to get respect. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, man, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with all my thoughts. What have you thought? You got anything else?
Man, I just think that it's too early to like end somebody's season just because they're losing one game, but the offense isn't that fluid. I think we just need to be patient and take our season by quarters, and you'll see that the teams we ended up picking will come into their rightful place.
Okay. Well, we're done with week 1 with Pushing Wild Black Sports. We will do this again probably next weekend. So we're going to try to do this like every week and such, unless it's something major. And you might see Ann on a couple of football things too. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, Ant, I'll see you next week, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. For Pushing Wild Black Sports, Pushing Wild Black Out, this is Christian Dean with my esteemed co-host and contributor, Anthony Joslin. We out of here. Later.
Later.